Well, right now I'm not obtaining much money, mostly through like internships, which are either like through a stipend or minimum wage or like a little above minimum wage, and then also like senior year working at Francesca's, which is like the only retail job. Wow,
Francesca's?
wow. So,
Wow. Did you like your coworkers?
there's one who caused a lot of issues in my life. Right now during the school year and last semester too, it's mostly just been like writing for the newspaper, or now I'm like doing this fellowship, but it's also like a very minimal stipend. I'm not really writing for the Daily Tribune this semester. I think that was about, depending on the length of the article, $20 to $40, I believe, per, which is pretty good. And then the stipend's just like $500 for the semester, so it's not a lot, especially because it's like 10 hours a week.
So that's below minimum wage if you do the math.
Yeah, that's
right?
like
Okay.
very, very low. Yeah.
Like...
So I'm like not doing it for the money, doing it more for the experience. I don't know. I was talking to, it was like an adult, so I was like, they know what they're saying. You'll always put in more effort if you get paid what you deserve. So I was like, that's true. Because I feel like now I'm kind of like putting not as much effort as I should, because I'm almost basically like volunteering. I'm like, if I did get paid, I'd have more of an incentive, which is like, not to say that I'm not self-motivated, but at the same time, it's like valuing my time, even as like, a student.
So I worked at a macaroon shop, and then I worked at Francesca's, and there was also this like really annoying girl there that I didn't like.
Oh.
So, then I worked at Madewell during my gap semester, and then I interned at Lime at the same time, and I am now interning at Formlabs, which is a 3D printing company. Both of my internships, I didn't know that they would be paid when I accepted them, so like I would have worked for free. It just so happened that they paid me for the macaroon place. I think it was minimum wage. It might have been like 25 cents higher or something. So I think at that time that was like either $12.50 or $13 an hour, something like that. Francesca's, what did we get paid? I think it was like $13.50.
I feel like, yeah, I think
Something
it was
like that. I don't think it definitely wasn't 15, so it must have been like 13.50. And at Madewell, I got paid, might have been 15 an hour, I think possibly. Then at Lime, I got paid $12.50 an hour, so minimum wage. At Formlabs now, I get paid $16 an hour. So like,
oh,
that's like really good.
wow.
Did you like make money before you were legally allowed to work? Like, did your parents have you do like chores and like give you money then, or like did you do like lemonade stands or something?
I'd like help out with neighbors. Like sometimes neighbors, like we have those like community email group, and they send that like, oh, like I need someone to like water my garden when I'm away, or like take out my trash, or like one time I cared for my neighbor's chickens, which was really cute. I think they were like on a trip to New York. Like they paid me, and they also brought back like a nice bracelet, which was like really nice. I don't know. I'm just like thinking about all the random little things I did. Sometimes it'd be like $15 a trip or something, and each trip was only like at most 30 minutes, so it was like very, very well paid. But I think they were just like, there's a small girl who wants to help out, so I don't know. My parents would just forward me emails, and I'd just like send them and be like, hello, I am a student at Jordan Middle School. Yeah, those are my first jobs.
Throughout high school, I used to go on Craigslist a lot to find jobs, which sounds really sketchy, but now I have to like continue. So I'd go to focus groups. So I did one for, do you know what Polyvore is?
I've heard of it.
So it basically,
It's like a clothing?
yeah, sort of. It's kind of similar to Pinterest, but not exactly the same. So I did a focus group for them, and they paid me $100 for an hour. And then I did focus groups for a couple other random companies. I did a clinical trial because I have allergies. So like they like buzzed me with some like electronic currents or whatever, and they were like, are your allergies better? And then I had to like do some stuff. And then one time I gave a tour of Pali in Chinese, and they paid me $200 for like an hour.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've made some good money off of Craigslist, and then I used to freelance as a photographer too. So I'd make money from that when I was younger. But I feel like a lot of my photography services, people were just definitely being nice because I was like a middle schooler trying to like make money, so they were like, oh, like, yes, let's just give her money, even though she's definitely not worth like whatever she's charging.
Also, like freelancing, I feel like most people don't get into it like until pretty late into so go you.
Go me.
Yeah. Now that we're in like college, I know you talked about last time about like loans.
Currently I'm not paying my loans because I don't know how. So I get an email that says like they're being disbursed, and I'm like, okay, cool, and then I just don't do anything, so I'm not paying my loans. But also my loans are like $3,000 a semester. It's not actually money that I need, but my parents were like, you should just take it because it's still money and it can help you like with your credit score. But I'm very lucky with in terms of college, like my parents are paying for college so far. So I've been really lucky to not have to like, the money that I make is my money to spend. That being said, because my parents pay for college, I pay for everything else. So like textbooks I paid for, which like was like a massive amount of money at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I think I spent maybe like $100 on textbooks this year versus last year I spent like $500 for like the first semester. I pay for my sorority dues, which last year they were $650 for the semester, This year they're $450 per semester.
I'm like also very privileged in the sense that my parents are paying for tuition and like room and board. Basically, their thing was if I got into one of my like top, it could merit like paying almost full price if or whatever I needed. If I didn't get into any that I was like super excited about, they'd pay like equivalent to UC price. So I was like lucky to get like a half scholarship for USC. So and then also with like one less semester or like one less year, depending on how early I graduate, it would bring it to like about UC price or cheaper. Room and board this year, it's actually like pretty cheap this year because they're like different like tiers. The dining plan is like only the cheapest one is like 40 swipes a semester, so it comes out to about like 3,000 a semester for this year, which is like really good. I think I still have to cook a fair amount, so I do spend about I want to say $30 to $40 per week on groceries. So I guess that does add up too. But I think overall it's cheaper than like because the dining each like dining hall swipe is like $13.
Ours is 18.
18. Oh, whoa.
And like I have to be on the dining plan if I'm living on campus, which is a big part of why I want to live off campus next year. Because even if it's like about the same price, I'd rather be cooking stuff that I want to eat, you know, as opposed to like the same thing every single day, basically. So what have you been spending like money on? Big purchases in the past? Other than college. College is a big purchase.
Oh, yikes. Travel, I guess. Yeah, like last year for my senior trip, that was like fully self-funded. But this year, because I was like visiting family and my parents, like kind of going with my parents for most of it, they paid for the plane tickets, but I just paid for like everything else. Some parts of it I like stayed by myself, so I paid for like hotels and like just like food. But it's like Asia, so it's fairly cheap. And like on the ground, like transportation. I'm trying to think of like other big things I purchased, but I like don't have a car, so that's like not a big deal. And then like technology, I've had this like laptop since like 2013, and this phone was like my mom's hand-me-down, so it's like a success.
Your
So I'm
laptop
like,
is
I'm just
constantly
chilling.
angry.
Oh, what about you?
I also went to Europe over the summer, but my parents for my birthday now, they gave me like a certain amount of money to spend on travel, so I used a lot of like that fund for my traveling. I spent a lot of money on clothes last year when I worked at Madewell because I also had a clothing discount, like an employee discount, so that really like fueled my consumerism to like a maximum level, which was bad. Yeah, lately I feel like I haven't been spending a lot on like big ticket items because I know I want to move to New York postgrad, so I want to like save up a little bit of like a nest egg so that I can like afford someplace. Is most of your money in savings, or like it's I guess like kind of what your spending habit is?
Mostly like making my money, like it's like when I work full time, most of it actually just goes to like rent and food and transportation and stuff. For DC it was like a $1,500 stipend, and I spent about like per month $800 on like rent per month, which is like definitely way more than like the recommended 30%. But I was like, I'm an intern, like it's not like I have like a wild social life where I have to like spend a bunch of money. So 800 is like on the cheaper side for DC, which is and then like groceries and then transportation, which is like the metro. I think they covered like 50 and I covered 50 a month. I did end up saving, but then also I did buy a textbook. Yeah, in the beginning of the semester, that's kind of where a lot of things went. And also I ended up buying like plane tickets home and stuff. That kind of like sucked up a few $100s. Like I'm lucky in the sense that like if I see my bank account's like full enough for me to like buy a plane ticket, I'll buy it. But also like if I'm coming home and my parents and I don't have enough money, I'm sure my parents would cover it. I don't think I've had to. They do like give me like money though if they see that it's like dipping too low. But that's I sound like a trust fund baby.
When I get my paycheck, I put half of it in savings and then half of it is like my money to spend on like food or clothing or like whatever. I'm like more conservative with my money because I feel like it's like very misleading to people when I'm like, oh, I'm broke, because I'm really not. I like have enough money to sustain me for a while. But when I say I'm broke, it means that I don't have enough money in my like debit card to sustain me until like the next pay period. But yeah, I'm definitely very lucky in that like if I ever needed money, my parents would give me money, and they do still support me with like money every month. Maybe like 2/3 of it is like money I've made myself through like jobs or selling clothes, whatever. And then 1/3 of it is probably like money from what my parents have given me, and also just like when I went to college, my grandparents gave me some money.
Next semester, I definitely will look for something. I'm just like trying to figure out if I want to look for something on campus or off. But I feel like if I didn't have money from the school, I'd be like more like panicked. But I feel like now I'm just like, oh, well, you know, I'm technically contributing, even though I'm not really.
I also feel that. I feel like because I've worked for so long, it's weird for me when I don't have income. Last semester, basically, I didn't have a job because that would have been just like too much with like adjusting to college and whatever, and also working. And it was like kind of like, to like see my like bank account go like low. I might be paying for my last year of college, so if I were to do that, that would kind of go into like all of my savings basically. That's kind of just something that I'm like thinking about.
I need to definitely like invest, because right now when I automatically like get money, I think my savings is where like the bulk of my money is. Red envelope money from like relatives and stuff, I just like put in there without thinking, because I'm like, I'll need it like soon, and I feel like I'll start dipping into it. I'll see, but I just feel like right now it's kind of just sitting there. Like I just need to figure out how to make it grow, like what you said last time about passive income.
My SoundCloud album. I invest with Robinhood, And Acorns, Robinhood is just like stock trading. It's like a platform to help you with stocks. So I would not recommend that necessarily because like you have to do the work yourself and the stock market is just like not doing too great right now. Acorns, it like invests it in like a variety of places for you. So some of them are in stocks, some of them are in like government bonds, some of them are in mutual funds, and depending on how like aggressive you want to be, because like high risk, high reward, or if you want to just like slowly grow over time. Then it also has this program called like roundups, where like if you connect to your bank account, it'll like round up purchases for you and then reinvest them into your acorns. So like over time, you like, you know, the acorn will become like a big tree.
A lot of people are talking about the website like mint.com for like budgeting.
Yeah,
I feel like I
use
need to
it.
start doing that. You use that?
Well, I have the app and it tells me when I'm like over budget, but I don't actually look at it because I feel too bad about how much money I'm spending.
That's like whenever you put the limit on like social media, like the phone limit for time, and then you just like ignore it.
Oh, I was gonna ask, do you have a credit card?
No, I'm applying for some now. It's been on my to-do list for like a year. When I went home, I was like, oh shit. So I went to talk to like some banks, and so I think it's like in the works. Do you have one?
Yeah, I got one
Oh.
during my gap semester because I just had a lot of time. So I was like, why don't I just apply for a credit card? I think the limit is like $1,500 and I never go over $500 because like that's the general rule of thumb for like maintaining your credit score. You're supposed to pay it off every month, but I pay it off like every 2 weeks because it just makes me feel better. I think my credit bill is usually like 4 something. So I just feel better paying like $200 twice than paying $400 once. I have like the cash back version. So if I'm online shopping, I put it on my credit card because then I get 3% back on like shopping as a category. And I also use it for food too because it's just like small amounts. You know how like really smart people, they like have different cards with different like benefits.
Yeah.
Like, they hack the system and basically get a trip for free. I really want to be on that level. I want to be 500 plus on LinkedIn and I want to have a free mileage plan trip or something.
Those are like the adult goals that like, I think I just applied with Wells Fargo. That's where I like have my bank account, so I've had like a history with them. But I think Bank of America has a pretty good college card. I think especially for what we want to do, it's not like guaranteed like enough money. If we find like the right jobs, it's not like we can't survive. But especially in the places we want to live, which are more expensive, like pricey, and we're not gonna get paid that much either. It's kind of just like scary to think about. Hopefully, I don't know.
Do you have a budgeting plan? Like, do you like restrain yourself, or are you just like?
I know like the ideal for like housing is like 30%. Savings is supposed to be at least like 20%. I think like when I worked, it'd be like I do the 20% savings, and then housing would always be like about 50% just because like intern money is not great. And then groceries, I try to limit to like $30-$40 a week. So I guess a month would be $120 to $150 a month. And then after that, like I feel like for say like eating out or like fun stuff, I try to limit it to like $30 a week. It really depends. Some weeks I'm like very good at like I just like don't spend money at all. I just cook the whole time. If I go hang out with friends, it's just like just hanging out. If one week I'm like especially good, then the other week I'll be like, oh, I can watch a movie, and that even though that takes like a $15 chunk out of it, and that includes like Ubers and stuff. I think it's just kind of like a gut feeling, like how many times I whip out my card per week, and then next week I'm like, I'm just gonna not whip out my card too often.
That's a lot more disciplined than I am. I feel like I'm just kind of like after I put in my savings, I'm kind of just like, well, I have money.
Yeah.
You know?
It's definitely nice. Like I think I'm like more careful now because I'm like not really making any income, so like my bank account's very low. But I think like definitely when I am, I'm just like, so I could buy a plane ticket anywhere. I literally like look on like Google Flights for kayak, but now I'm just like, should I watch a movie? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so, because I'm like, this is technically an hour of work for just like sitting there.
Oh my god. When you start calculating how many hours of work you have to do to like buy something, it's kind of sad because when we were making like $12.50 after taxes, that's like $10.50 ish.
Yeah.
$10.50, that's like what a Chipotle bowl. But that's an hour of me being like, hi, can I help you with that? You know?
Well, maybe one day we'll look back on this. Well, okay, there are like two alternatives. One day we're gonna be like, damn, we were so naive, hoping that one day we'll be like rich enough to have the fireplace, the fire escape, and the high ceilings. Or we could look back and be like, wow, it all worked out. So who knows?
Spooky.
This is just me, like all my internal panic just like coming out.
Internal panic is now external.
Maybe we can just win the lottery, or
Sugar
marry
daddy.
rich. Paying for school, paying for food. What else is like related to money?
Oh, yes.
Paying for dates.
I was just gonna say, paying for dates.
What's your? Oh, wait, we should do like a little finger touch. It's like ET. But
Phone home. I feel like it's nice when the guy offers to pay, so I can turn him down and be like, no, it's fine, I'll pay for my half. You know what I mean?
yeah. I always offer to pay, and then if the guy like insists, then I'll pay for the like the second date if there is one. My opinion of them doesn't like decrease if they're like 50-50, especially if it's like pricier.
When you say you always offer to pay, do you mean pay for yourself or pay for everything?
I just like we can split it.
Oh, okay.
second date, I'd pay for like the whole thing if they paid for the whole thing for the first one.
Yeah.
Normally, like I try to suggest something cheap for the first date, like coffee or like desserts, or if it's like a restaurant, it's like not fast food, but like on the lower side.
When you
And
split
then-
it, do you do like I bought this and this, so therefore my total is this, or you just like?
No, I would just put 2 cards and just say like split in half. If we stand in line for coffee, normally I will stand in front. Then I like put my card out, and if he wants to pay, then he'll always just be like, oh, like no, I'll pay for it. If he's first, you know, then like doesn't want to pay for mine, then it's like kind of awkward. I don't know. Do you get what I
know
mean?
What you mean? Yeah, especially when they're like anything else, and you're just like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then I try to like position myself first, so it's like he can like offer to, but if not, like.
Oh, Christmas presents. Are you gonna get Christmas presents for people? Or birthday presents?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't think about this. Damn, it's already almost November. Oh, that just brought a lot of stress into my life.
Oh no, sorry.
For like friends here,
Like in college, you mean?
yeah.
Okay.
Like a lot of times we like go and like surprise them with a cake, so I'll like buy cake and like candles, and then like I like to get like a little collection of like many small things. It's like face masks or like flowers and stuff. I don't know. So it's just like a bunch of small things. It does add like up, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, I can't eat for the next 2 weeks if I treat them to something. So
Last year I spent like $200 getting Christmas gifts for everyone. I can't do that every year. Just be like, oh, pa, money for you.
it's like Oprah. It's like
I'm Ellen. Like, here, have a bunch of money.
like I feel like the move maybe now it's like handmade or I make fewer friends. Like, by December I'll just be like it's not hang out anymore, so I don't feel obligated. Well, I won't do that, but
Oh my god, Ashley, we should give out branded merch for Christmas. Any last money thoughts? Any thoughts at all?
sorry, my brain's a little empty right now.
Just like your wallet.